Gentlemen, I am back on video. Been sick for about the last week with the flu. Serious chest congestion, still getting rid of some of the stuff that's in there. But we are much better off today than where we were last week because I was up under it. Up under it. Okay? But we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to discuss here on Facebook in our group room. And on the Shadow Band third channel, I'm going to put this video up on YouTube. So if you're looking at this on the group page, then I put the link in there. If you're not on, subscribe to the third channel, which has been banned, Shadow Band. All the other channels have been deleted by ScumTube. So we're doing this and then Rumble as well. But since I have been under the weather for the last week, back up, got my strength and my wind back. We back. Well, we ain't never left. We just was sacked for a little bit. Just for a little bit. But the question now is, what's happening? What's going on? I've been hearing a lot about this thing. People think there is some type of revival going on, that God is going to bring this revival to the earth, and God is, well, we do know he sets kings up and puts them down. That was this election thing was, they said, it's too big to rig. One party destroyed it for themselves with empty rhetoric. Nothing made sense. You know, when you win both sides of the election, the popular and all that other goo gob, whatever. And then this chick didn't even have the chutzpah to come out and speak to the people that she wanted to vote for. She just told them to go home. She sent out a messenger, told them to go home. I'm in here getting drunk. It's a wrap. I know I lost. You got mollywopped. Now, was that the hand of God? We know in the Old Testament, God raised some kings up, folks. And then there were some kings he sat down. So we're looking at a war situation now, a lame duck situation, but he's not in the office. So that means the current regime still has time to further and escalate this WW3 thing, because they know they have to give up power. And when you corner a wild animal into a situation and they feel like they have no other recourse, fight or flight, that's what we could possibly be seeing with this whole situation. Between now and January, anything's liable to jump. But we say God's in control. And I keep going back to Ecclesiastes 3:15. So let's do it again, folks. Because everything is not what we're looking at. God is not on our time, and I'm going to continue to say that. We are on his time. Ecclesiastes 3:15, and this is the meat of it, and it says clearly, that which has been is now. That which has been is now. So this is a very important verse because it really helps you understand, and it could really settle people. When you think about where stories are told, some stories are told on earth. God then acquires people into heaven and then shows them things in heavenly time, which that time is different. This is a peace and safety period, because the world is under peace and safety spirit now because Trump won. But what people don't realize is that that guy also is pushing digital currency. And our government is already set to pass digital ID. They're going to pass it in Africa in December. This could be that moment where you're lulled into a sleepy situation because you've got this guy in now, which if you look at some of the stuff he's talked about, it mirrors cabal-ish type things. Talking about a digital currency. You're talking about elevating technology and frequency because he likes to be competitive with other countries. He says, I didn't come here to start wars. I come to end them, is what he said. We're not going to war. That's what he says. Because when I get in there, but see, that's the problem. He's not in there yet. This is still on the hot button, folks. The red button is lighting up and somebody's going to push it. Is old and ridiculous? Is he going to make it? Would he get sick and all of a sudden kick the two-piece bucket? And then they install Kamala? She could still get her position. And all of these libtards running around here screaming into the microphone and in the camera after this selection was over with is utter ridiculous. I heard some dumb chick say she's going to wake up and be a slave, and she was black. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to wake up and we're going to be in Russia. I mean, just the brainwashing. This is what happened when you make politics your God and not God himself. And you listen to these backwards folks. We got a whole nation, a whole world full of people that think like that. Very dangerous. That which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been. And God requires that which is past. A lot of times you think the future is something brand new. The future is just the past, redressed, reconditioned, redone. Okay? Trump won, so what's next now? That's what I think I'll title the video that. Trump won, so what's next now? The same thing that was on your plate before he won. Continue to pray that you are worthy of escape. Because there's still, again, folks, we got to understand there's still people who have not got on that 777 flight yet. And people who are still coming to Christ. There are people who are breaking down as Democrats and coming to Christ. I've been hearing this. Is this that great revival? There are people who were Dummycrats, and I've been hearing this from all over, folks I work with, all out in the street. People are just, oh my God, Jesus is being the comfort piece for some of these folks. People are coming to Christ. Think about that. God would use this election and make it a red tidal wave to where the narrative don't even stick. And now you got The View hating on each other. They in there sitting up having debates. Some are just totally dumbed down in this stupid rhetoric. Others are waking up. So if this is God's time, Ecclesiastes 3:15, God knows who's coming to the cross. He knows whose names are in that book. Amen. And if this means that things are delayed because we're getting more people saved, God has showed the impossible to be possible. It was way too big for them to rig it. And now you got people within that clown party who are breaking the mold and going to Christ. After this election, there is a hush over this nation right now, spiritually. Some people I can't even recognize or even fathom what happened, how we even got here. Others are waking up spiritually. Mirroring testimonies of people being ministered to in public because, I just knew she was going to win, and then they're just defeated. And the only comfort for these people is Jesus Christ. So when you think about where we are, how much time we got, remember, folks, I've said this year that this is 2022, not 2024. Okay? And if in the spring starts 2023, and then you add 7 to that, there is still time for people to come to Christ. And that's happening, as we see now. I just tell people to hold the line and be secure and be confident and know that God is God. The evil agenda did not win, but that doesn't mean that the plans that God has are not still in action, still in progress. Yeah, he won, but he's not in office yet. Not until January. And I still think myself that there are barrels still pointed at his head. But God has not allowed that to happen. So when God moved him, when he was speaking that day, and it whizzed past him and clipped him, if God hadn't have moved him just enough for it to pass him, it would have been pumpkin exploded city. That shows you that God is in control. God kept him alive for such a time as this, so that his plan could be seen in front of the whole world. But don't get comfortable in that and thinking, oh, well, he's extended it. That means that it might be delayed in the whole process. Well, it could. No man can counsel the mind of God, but don't change your direction. Don't change your theme, your anthem. Everything stays the same as if you thought she was going to get in, because this is a fallen world. And just because he won, it doesn't mean that things are over with, that the pandemics are over with. Okay, they're still fighting because they want control, and since they can't have control, they're going to do all they can to destroy it so that nobody else can get it. The day of the elections, they said we're going to test nuclear missiles. The U.S. said that after we find out the results. Why would that be? Oh, a little girl said that in her dream some years ago, he was elected. And then right after he was elected, she saw nuclear missiles coming towards the United States. That could be this time in between he's getting elected and get in. They still got months to get this war going. The destruction of this country, along with the destruction of this world. Okay? That's what we're looking at. So, at the end of the day, we just still stay prayed up. And get out of that selfish part about, well, when is it going to happen? There are people still getting saved, folks. We've all been one of those folks. And it wasn't until you realize, wow, God says his ways, his thoughts are higher than ours, and we are not on his time. His time is different from ours. But it also doesn't mean that we fall off and we go back to the world and we start doing worldly things. This is the time more than ever to strap your boots up and lace them all the way up to your kneecap. Because there's something required of you as a believer. The church requires work, folks. And the building up of the church. There's no way you can call yourself a believer and don't believe that the church that God said that we are a part of, that has a work to do. There's still work to do, folks. No matter how much time we think is left. But we do have, even though you got some far left, we got some far right idolaters of Trump who are Christian. Okay. I've seen black dudes crying that he won. I just can't do it, man. I can't get that deep off up into that to where, oh, he won, oh, she lost. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. It ain't in me to do that. I just can't. I mean, hey, if that's how you feel, what's in your cup? I think right now, this is the time that you really need to be on high alert. Because of the way it happened. And it just seems like they easily just gave up. I'm not going out there. Tell them I'll talk to them tomorrow. I think they were working on another plan. We are definitely going to see things escalate in the Middle East. They've already have with the airstrikes in Beirut. Which Damascus is there. We are going to see Damascus laid a ruinous heap. That's the timepiece, folks. Keeping your eye on this Lebanon, Beirut thing and how close Damascus is in that. Because that's what we're going to be looking at, folks. All right, guys. I will talk to you on another video. Back feeling much better. I'm going to try to get this uploaded to all the platforms because we still got work to do. Peace.